Alright ladies, today I want to introduce you to a concept that most women have never been taught, and that is the way that men subconsciously assess and decide your value long before they fall in love. Think about this for a moment. Some women have men naturally show up, pursue and commit, while other ones, who are just as beautiful and intelligent, keep running into confusion and disappointment. Well, let me tell you that that is not bad luck, and it's not about trying harder. So the real question then becomes, what are men actually responding to in your energy and behavior? What makes a man register a woman as high value in his eyes? And just as important, what are the subtle things that you might be doing that quietly lower that value without you even realizing it? If you're new to the channel, my name is Ismael Gomez, and I coach women like you to understand relationship dynamics and male behavior at a deeper level. Now, this video is not about tricks or playing games, and it's definitely not about changing who you are. It's about awareness. Because once you understand these dynamics, dating stops feeling confusing and it starts feeling a lot more intentional and enjoyable. Okay, so let's begin. Number 1, you lead the emotional direction of the relationship. One thing that men notice early on, often without realizing it, is who's guiding the emotional pace of the relationship. Tell me how many times you've been the one defining progress, being the one who's naming, where things are going, checking in about us, asking all the meaningful questions. When you take on the role of the emotional navigator, a man doesn't feel invited to step up. He actually feels relieved. He stays comfortable following or responding because the pressure to move things forward is not on him anymore. And attraction rarely grows in comfort. Remember that men bond through initiative, through choosing, pursuing, and investing of their own accord. When you take that role, even subtly, his internal motivation is going to weaken. And this also goes with another pattern that I notice in a lot of you, and that is that you adjust faster than he does. You adapt to his whole schedule. You slow down or you speed up to match his pace. And although none of that is wrong in isolation, relationships, do require some flexibility. But when you're the one who's always adapting, okay, the relationship is going to stop feeling mutual. Remember that interest does not deepen when you're the one guiding someone into choosing you. It deepens when he chooses you freely, consistently, and on his own. Number 2, you reward potential more than behavior. Another pattern that I notice in my coaching practice is many women fall in love with what's possible. You connect to the man that he could become, not the one who he consistently is. You respond to his ideas, his future plans, and the man that he talks about becoming. And emotionally, you start engaging with that version of him as if it already exists. And here's where the dynamic shifts, because when a man feels emotionally rewarded for who he might become, not the actual man who's showing up every single day, his nervous system doesn't feel motivated to move forward. It feels comfortable staying in the imagination. And this is not about appreciation versus effort. It's about what reality the relationship is anchored in. It's not about imagining all the things that you want. It's looking at it objectively, okay? Because words feel good and plans feel exciting, but without follow through, they don't create attachment. I mean, I cannot even tell you how many clients I get, okay, that they've been dating a man for 2 years and he says that he's going to marry her and they're going to build a home together. And my question is always, okay, what is he doing to make that happen? Because he's talking about it, but he's not taking much action. And I can even tell you in my own relationship, I think about 3 months after dating, when we were together, I was already thinking I feel that I'm going to marry this woman, and I was already asking her, hey, what kind of rings do you like? What kind of shape? So when you don't see him taking action, when you don't see him moving things forward, all right, everything is living in your imagination. This is why some connections feel emotionally rich, but they never solidify. They live in intention instead of action, in imagination instead of experience. Now, many of you ladies have asked me for a relationship tool that you can use day to day, not just something to watch or read. And today I want to share one that I genuinely recommend, and that is the Paired app. My partner and I have been using it for a few months, and it's become part of how we stay intentional and connected, especially at night when we start to wind down. So each day, the Paired app gives you a question or a short game, and you don't see your partner's answer until you respond yourself. And that alone creates a safer, more honest way to start conversations. One quiz that we did was called Defensiveness Detox, and there was a question that made me realize how quickly I can become defensive when I feel criticized. And that awareness alone changed how I listen and respond to her. You know, I usually don't recommend anything on my channel, but this app is really amazing, and I recommend it for any couples at any stage. Whether you're trying to strengthen what you have or you're trying to be more intentional with your connection. It's a new year, fresh energy, 2026, so why not nurture the most important foundation of your life, which is your relationships. You can click my link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Pair Premium to deepen your connection with your partner. Number 3, you turn curiosity into investigation. Think about this for a moment. How often do you ask questions that sound like curiosity, but they're actually coming from fear? You might ask about his past, his intentions, or his experiences, but the energy underneath it is really asking, are you going to disappoint me? Are you just another guy like the rest? Are you going to cheat? Are you going to walk away? Okay. And when questions are rooted in anxiety, the interaction changes. He doesn't feel desired, he feels pressured. And instead of feeling invited into the connection, he's going to feel like he's always being evaluated. Every answer that he gives starts to feel like it matters too much. Like one wrong move is going to shift everything, and that's when curiosity turns into investigation. Rather than relaxing into who he is, he's going to become more guarded. Not because he has bad intentions, but because the space no longer feels free. And again, desire is not going to grow in that environment, okay, because attraction deepens when there's openness, playfulness, and trust. When questions feel warm and present, they create closeness. But when they're driven by fear of loss or disappointment, they create distance, even if the questions themselves seem reasonable. People want to breathe in a relationship. They don't want to feel suffocated, where connection feels something to enjoy, not something to manage. And final, number 4, how you treat his masculinity. Another quiet way that men decide a woman's romantic value is how the relationship reflects their sense of identity. So not effort, not interest, but who they feel they are becoming inside the connection. When a man feels competent around you, value rises. But when he feels diminished or quietly overridden, value drops, even if you never intended it. And this often shows up in very small ways, like when you replan something that he already planned, or you emotionally lead, repair, explain, and manage the connection. As a man is falling in love, he asks himself a very simple, quiet question. Does this connection feel expansive, or does it actually shrink me? Just like you do, a man also evaluates how you affect his life. Does being with you make things simpler and more ordered, or heavier and more complicated? And this is not about avoiding depth, it's about mental and emotional load. And before love even forms, that feeling of, I like being around her, I don't know what it is about her energy, but everything feels expansive, is what quietly decides everything. Alright ladies, that is all for today, but to finish this video, I want to leave you with a quote, and here it is. People decide how they feel about you based on how they feel about themselves in your presence. Anyways, thank you for subscribing to my channel, and remember that for your relationships to change, you need to change, okay? Have a beautiful day.